was just a little bit of introduction about who I am and what I do, and my journey that led me to YouTube. This was my introduction shot in the Telugu movie. And now we are in Ooty.
nayarmatrimony.com.
And this is how I chill on a free day. Welcome to my channel, All Things Venus. My name is Aishwarya and I love glitters. What better time than New Year's to break out the glitters, right? I have done 3 glitter looks and 1 bonus. This is the first, the most bold and glam look out of them all. The look number 2 and 3 and bonus are much simpler. This is a step-by-step get ready with me video, huh? So grab a snack, just a heads up. Let's talk about the inspiration behind this look. Drum roll! Ta-da! This top, and more specifically the fabric of this top. It has a beautiful black and silver pixeled nuance, as you can see. It looks shiny and glossy, but that's because it's reflecting light. It's actually matte to the touch. That's the part that got me thinking. I could never do glossy eye looks off the sets because they are of this wet texture and that gets very messy to manage. But a texture that looks glossy but is matte to touch won't slip and slide. Oh yes, give me it. Then I got to work. I started mixing things and experimenting to mirror everything that's happening on this fabric on my eyes. This is what I finally came up with after 2 days and sore eyes. Oh, did I mention, by the way, I'm getting ready here for a Bollywood DJ night? How well did this last? I don't know, you be the judge. Selfie after coming home included at the end of the video. You tell me in the comments. How do we achieve this inspired look? Let's do the breakdown, shall we? From the creative inspiration to the technical discriminations. The texture we already spoke about. Let's talk about the nuance. The dance between this black and silver nuance is coming from the intensity variation of the light falling on it, which is achieved by using glitter in varying intensity, meaning in some areas we are going to pack it more densely and in some areas we are going to disperse it. And we're going to be doing that on a deep black matte background base. While I was editing this looks, it was giving me oil spill vibes. I was so tempted to call it that, but I doubted if anybody would Google that, if it would ever show up in the search results, if all of my hard work would just be lost in this internet jungle. Some friends of mine have called this look, I don't know, like almost sultry. I don't know, this conversation is making me uncomfortable. Let's get into the eyeshadows. I've done my brows. I've fixed my brows with soap and I've lifted them a little bit up, as you can see, because if they're a little lifted up like so, you have a little bit more space to work here. So that's just the reason why I do it. And I know this looks weird, but don't worry, it's just potato slices. So what happens is when you're doing a lot of smoky work, sometimes the product, especially when you're working with glitters, which is what we are going to be doing, a lot of the product falls here and then you have to clean it. So I think it's just best to either, like, you can use under eye gel pads, or you can just use tissues. Like, you can just take tissue and stick it with these paper tapes. This is by ELF. It looks like this.
You can also use paper tape or surgical tape, but I use this because it's much softer. The glue is not very harsh, so it doesn't irritate my eyes because I have sensitive skin. So the thing with potatoes, why I prefer potatoes over gel pads is because potato is 80% water, so it's very moisturizing for your under eyes. And when I'm shooting these lights and when I'm wearing a lot of layers, my eye sometimes starts to feel tired, and because of all the blending we are going to be doing, the eye can start to feel a little sore. Even the temperature of the eye after all that makeup, when I touch, it's the temperature of this part of my face becomes a little higher. So potato helps cool down that, and it helps in moisturizing. It of course catches fallout, and one added benefit that only potato slices give is that potato has a natural, it has a starch in it which works as a natural bleach, right? So it also brightens your under eye without damaging your under eyes in any shape or form. What we are going to do is we are just going to cut the crease. It's very important that before we put black here and we start putting liner and we start putting glitter in the center, we cut the crease. Notice the shades I'm going in with. First I'm going to go in with this shade right here, this one. So we are just going to cut it, and next I'm going to go in with this shade. It's a little like pinky dusty grey kind of a shade. Let's just do that. And next I'm going to go in with this grey. And I'm just giving it that extra bit of shadowing, because once we start smudging the coal and the glitter, then we can't do this. We can't move things much once we layer them so much. So we have to do that here itself. This is just, think of it like, this is called socket shading, and just think of it like you are defining the features. You're just laying the groundwork before you go in with the smoky. And just this what we've done would make a really good daytime work appropriate, interview appropriate smoky eye. If ever any of you want to have an interview appropriate smoky eye, let me know in the comment section below and I can make a video on that. Notice how I have drawn my eyebrows a little till here. I have extended them slightly, and when I've put the tape, I've joined this part and this part, like the ends of the eye and the eyebrow. So we are going to put shadows here. And notice how I am taking the shadow here too. And don't hesitate from taking it a little lower, pulling it out, because that's what smoky is all about. I'm taking L'Oreal gel liner.
Applying kohl to the lids, focusing it closer to the lash line and in the outer smaller V. As you can see, this is not a neat outcome, and it doesn't have to be, because we are gonna buff the edges anyway with a soft brush. Soft brush, okay, that's important in order to not give yourself a sore eye by the time you're done with the smoky look, because smoky does involve a lot of buffing. So we're just gonna hit the edges and smudge it across. The first time we buff it in, it will look like we are losing some intensity, but that's okay. We want that. We want that faded intensity because it's part of creating that smoky gradient. The second time, we are going to be more precise, and we are going to focus the kohl closer to the lash line in the area where we would generally apply kohl, and a little bit in the outer V. And then we are going to blend the previous layer and the recent layer together with a soft brush, but still retaining the intensity closer to the lash line. We're not going to touch the intensity near the lash line much. Going in next with a black matte powder. Oh my god, Wet n Wild Panther. It's 150 rupees and it's so black. I love it, recommend it, circle it. Let's move on. Pat and press onto the coal, because at the end of the day it is cream and it is going to shift. Also, mixing these two is really going to give you that black, pitch black sort of shading. Focusing the powder in the outer V, whatever is left on the brush, we are going to take that into the crease to make it look like you have faded the outer V into the lids inward. And we are going to be adapting small circular motions. Take a tissue, clean everything. In case you don't have another clean brush lying around like me, you're lazy and you don't clean your brushes before you do the tutorial, you can use this and go in small circular motions and buff your way to glory, girl.
See, the black base we've only given it from here till here. So after this, when we put black powder from here to here, it's never going to be as dark as it is here. And that's the reason why we use a cream black base, to give it that gradient, and also it makes it makes the black we put much blacker, even though this is a very strong black still. I know the whole eye looks very black right now, but don't worry, there is going to be gradient by the time we are done with it. Because that's what smoky eyes are all about. It's about creating the gradient, from here to here. Here it should be the lightest, and as it goes here, it should be the darkest. The same thing from here to here, darkest and lightest. And it is that gradient, it is that depth which you think maybe, you would generally think that if the eye is looking much deeper, then maybe it will look much smaller, but it's actually counterintuitive. It's almost like a double negative, because you're creating more depth to the eye, and that makes it look like your eyes are bigger. And that's the reason why smoky eyes are so famous, because they can make any eye shape, all eye shapes look bigger. And hooded eyes, I just love smoky eyes on hooded eyes. I feel like smoky eyes were invented for hooded eyes. Women who have hooded eyes, I feel, should be embracing smoky eyes. So we're just going to remove all of the product off the brush, and then whatever is left on the brush, with that we are just going to hit the edges. We are buffing the edges in almost large circular motions to remove the product. I'm not buffing it to apply it, I'm buffing it to just remove it. I want this part to be light and this part to be light. So I'm removing some of that darkness, but I want to retain the darkness here, so I'm not going to go very harshly there. This is the part where I want to remove some darkness, so I do that. Now I'm taking that black and I'm putting it here, because I noticed that not much darkness has come here, even though I really buffed it.
Using a soft angular brush and using the edge of the tape that we have put as a reference and packing all the matte powder in the outer V, as you can see.
Yep. And now I'm going to buff the edges. Just fading it, making it look lighter. It's of course going to get buffed more when we apply the skin tone powder here, which we'll do at the end. You'll see. I'm gonna go in with liner and then set it with some powder to make it look extra dark.
A little bit of eyeliner and doing a small baby wing.
Now I've given a minute for this to dry. Liquid liner has dried up. I'm going to put powder.
Pat and press, pat and press.
So before we go in with the glitters, which is going to be the final showstopper of this eyeshadow look, we are going to go in with some powder. This is a skin color powder. It's something like that. And we are going to put light wherever we want. So I wanted a little more light there and a little bit more here. And now I'm going to take a little bit of that and apply it here, because I want this to be more light. Can you make out how now this is looking dark, this is looking light, this is looking dark, this is looking light? The geometry of it, what we talked about. This is something a makeup artist showed to me. So he would do the most intense, blackest of eye looks, and I would look like a raccoon. And then he would say, just close your eyes. I would close, and he would do this step. I would open, and then I'm not a raccoon anymore. So I asked him, this is what he told me. He said, as long as you just add a little bit of light, smoky eye can work for everybody. Until that point, I was a little scared of doing smoky eye because I naturally have deep set eyes, guys, you know. Because I naturally have deep set eyes, it would sort of always, I don't know, I always felt like they're already deep, and then with smoky eye, it look even more deep. So I used to be afraid of it. I only used to put kajal and let it be. Until, of course, I came into modeling and acting. And as a model, you know, you have to be open to doing all kinds of looks. So I've just taken a little bit of that and applied it here and here. So this is the base. Now bringing in the big guns. You are definitely going to need eye glue for this, and I do recommend eye glue because you don't have to worry about your glitter falling on your cheeks at the end of the evening. So ELF silicone applicator, we're going to take that little bit of ELF glitter glue. This is what we used, and let's go in with the big guns. Pat and press the glue. So you don't want to disturb all your work underneath. You just want to give the glitter some sticky base. That's all you're trying to do. So don't spread, just touch. Whatever evening on this applicator you want, do it on your hand itself. And see, is it even? Okay, it's even. Then you go in. And go in and just touch. That's all. Now I am going in with the final and my favorite step. It is this. We are going to use this glitter. Now I'm just touching it. And let's focus it on the center of the eyelid.
Focusing glitter on the ball of the eyelid first and then spreading it around. Do you see that, guys? That glitter reflect? It's just the starting, guys. It's gonna get better. What can I say? It's smoky, it's glitter. These are some of my favorite things. I'm a total kid in a candy shop when it comes to eyeshadows. Just spreading it across in the visible part of the eyelid when you keep your eyelids open. Just spread it across only in that area first. Do you see how now it started to look like a little bit of a reflection of the top that we were trying to create? Yeah? Yeah.
Focused it mostly on the center of the eyelid, and just for some good measure, I'm going to, because it's glitter, guys, it is going to spread. So I feel might as well make it look deliberate, you know. So I've just taken it up a little in the crease. Let's put a little extra on the center. Now we are going to tight line. I've made a video on how to tight line, 3 easy ways to tight line, in case you guys want a detailed information on how to do this. Do you see that?
Apologies in advance for showing you guys my nostrils. I know this is an unflattering picture, but the difference before and after of tight lining is just really clear here, so couldn't help myself.
Initially, I used to be a little scared of tight line. And then my makeup artist told me about, not my makeup artist, but that makeup artist who I was working with that day. He told me about two, three techniques. I used to be a little scared of tight lining, guys, because it looks scary and I wear contact lenses. So, and I have very sensitive eyes and sensitive skin and just sensitive everything. Thank you, God. I'm using Krylon 56 and I've cut them. I've cut the ends and I just like to use the ends because I find that to be very comfortable as opposed to, you know, wearing a full lash and then something starts popping from here when you're at the party. So half lashes are the best.
Just drop them and attach them to your natural lashes.
Suppose you want a little bit more of lashes here after this point. That is when I go in with these lashes. These are kiss lashes. Take the slightly longer one, pluck it out. We're going to put some glue. And how I put glue is I just take them, I just touch the band to this. Give it like 5 seconds. And wherever you want it, just drop it.
Just drop them with the plucker wherever you want them and then pinch them with your natural lashes and give them a good push upwards. I've used two.
We are highlighting the inner corners with this. We're going to take some of that and just place it here, just that little bit. We're just going to touch the lash line with some black and then we are going to smudge that.
Smudge and then place some black in the outer lash line.
We're going to use this black to smudge the black powder matte one that we've used because this has a little bit of that satiny finish. Like I'll just show you. See that? It's got that satiny finish as opposed to this having that matte finish. So a satin finish always blends something better. So if you're having trouble blending any mattes, or even if you're not having trouble, if you just want the blending process to be that much easier, just use something that's satiny.
Smudge for some gradient, add some mascara to the lower lashes.
Now what we're going to do is we are going to take some micellar water. Micellar waters are really good for this purposes, like just specific area cleanse without disturbing the rest of the makeup. There, you see the amount of product that's fallen onto these things, all this glitter that would have fallen on our cheeks had we not had this, even with the glitter glue and everything. Peel it off, peel it off. Admire your work. And this is the final last touch. I promise this is the last step. I'm taking some micellar water and just removing whatever extra bit of fallout was there. So this is where you can go in with some foundation if you want to. I love the look of just nude skin. So I'm just going to go in with lipstick directly.
Paired this top with olive green jeans. This is a bodysuit top. Bodysuit tops are all fun and games until you have to go to pee. I have crazy long and voluminous hair right now. So I'm just embracing it while it lasts. If you like this video, don't forget to check out the New Year look 2 and 3 as well. And if you like what I do here, please hit that subscribe button, like my videos. I will see you all next time. And now I'm off to dancing. Bye bye. I promised you a check in selfie, didn't I? I think it lasted beautifully. If anything, the oils from the skin from dancing, I think made it look richer and more intense than before. It's more lived in now. I think Smokey looks more sultry lived in. What do you think? How did it last? Let me know in the comments below. Now, what kind of Aishwarya tutorial would it be without the wink? So, ready or not, here it is.